Ronnie was 3 for 3 at the plate and scored 2 runs. The Angels were swept in their 3-game series at Baltimore. They lost 11-2 on Sunday. The Angels start a 4-game series tonight in New York against the Yankees. The NBA Finals resume tonight with Game 5 in Oklahoma City. OKC and the Indiana Pacers are tied at 2-2 in the best of 7. TV ratings for the NBA Finals are down 20% from last year after 4 games. Tip-off time tonight is 5:30 on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
LA's newest soul food restaurant is getting spectacular reviews.
Great place with amazing food. The Sunday champagne brunch is fabulous. I saw the place on IG. We tried it for lunch. We were blown away by the food and the service. The restaurant has an inviting atmosphere and a dynamic vibe.
Over the years, Lionel has catered most major black events in Los Angeles, including all of our KBLA Talk 1580 gatherings. But now he has his own spot, Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine, and you need to check it out at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Oxtails, baked or fried chicken, meatloaf, turkey chops, pork chops, catfish, short ribs, and all the fixins. Collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, red beans, black-eyed peas, and more. And of course, hot water cornbread, satisfying drinks, and delicious desserts. Lionel's is a great place for brunch, lunch, or dinner. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you, because we've got your black. So, head on over to Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and tell Lionel you heard about it on KBLA Talk 1580.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavisSmileyShow.com. That's thetavisSmileyShow.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, following this weekend's No Kings rallies all across America, author Stephen Bradley talks about his new text, If We Don't Get It, A People's History of Ferguson. A great deal to unpack about these rallies this weekend and linking it back to Ferguson and, for that matter, incidents prior to Ferguson. We'll do all that today in hour 2. In our third hour,
too busy. I'm never too busy for you, babe. Never too busy. No. I've got things on my mind.
Manhattan prosecutor turned TV judge Faith Jenkins and her husband, Grammy-nominated R&B crooner Kenny Lattimore, join us live in studio today in Hour 3. Each has multiple new projects in development, so lots to talk about. When Judge Faith Jenkins, and Kenny Lattimore come in studio today in our final hour, since it's June and we're still celebrating Black Music Month, and Kenny Lattimore is coming in. Lucky for him, we're going to play his music all 3 hours today. We'll make Kenny our artist of the day, and we'll see him live in studio here in our third hour. But Kenny Lattimore music in and out of all these great conversations today, over 3 hours of this program as we celebrate once again June as Black Music Month. But in this first hour, two more conversations. On the B side of this hour, Representative Bobby Scott sounds off on a number of issues, including this weekend's Army/Trump birthday parade. Lord help us. But we commenced today's show with our regular contributor, Nekima Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney and founder of the Racial Justice Network. Just so happens that Nekima lives in Minnesota, site of this weekend's shooting attack on two state lawmakers and their spouses, an attack Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called a politically motivated assassination. Before I bring Nekima on the line, here's some sound from Governor Walz last night speaking after the capture of the suspect.
After a two-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Bolter. That's 48 hours that law enforcement involved in a complex and dangerous manhunt. Spent Father's Day away from their families to deliver justice for Melissa and Mark Hortman and their children who spent this Father's Day alone. To the law enforcement who stand here and the hundreds who were involved in this, the state of Minnesota owes you a deep debt of gratitude. Thank you. You ran towards the danger and you served the state of Minnesota. Multiple agencies were there as FBI laid hands on it and Minnesota State Patrol put the handcuffs on. One man's unthinkable actions have altered the state of Minnesota. Melissa Hortman was the core of who our values were. She had a hand in so many things that happened. The building that we stand in, she helped usher through so that we could respond from the State Emergency Operations Center with the professionalism and giving the tools necessary to law enforcement to do their job. To Melissa and Mark's family, I cannot fathom your pain and the grief that you're going through. To John and Yvette Hoffman, the latest news is Senator Hoffman came out of his final surgery and is moving towards recovery. Yvette is healing. And I think when the story comes out, and I'd like to say on behalf of the state of Minnesota, the heroic actions by the Hoffman family and their daughter Hope saved countless lives, and we are grateful.
That's Minnesota Governor Tim Walz speaking last night after the capture of the suspect in that particular case. Again, the governor referred to these incidents as politically motivated assassinations. It is not like this country is unused to this. We could talk all day long about political assassinations from Abraham Lincoln to Dr. King, and many, of course, in between. But it's shocking in 2025 to see this kind of brazen attack on two public elected officials and their spouses. Minnesota just can't catch a break. I mean, we just commemorated the 5th anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. And I could run a long list. Philando Castile, Nekima knows this list better than I do. She lives there. But what's happening in Minnesota? Again, just shocking to witness this in real time. I'll cut Nekima loose when we come forward. You're listening to Tavis Smiley. June, again, Black Music Month, the best of Kenny Lattimore all day today, all 3 hours. You'll join us in our third hour today here on Tavis Smiley.
'Cause I'm too busy for you. I'm not too busy. We used to dream that one day we'd have...
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Attorney advertising prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least liked to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God!
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, call the bomb.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There'll be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
For you, I'd give a lifetime of stability. Anything you want of me. Nothing is impossible for you. There are no words or ways to show my love, or all the thoughts I'm thinking of. 'Cause this life is no good alone. Since we've become one, I've made a change, and everything I do now makes sense. All roads end, all I do for you.
It's Kenny Lattimore in our 3rd hour today with his wife, Judge Faith Jenkins. We're playing the best of Kenny Lattimore all 3 hours of today's program as we continue our celebration of June as Black Music Month. You know, we do it. We choose a different artist of the day every day in the month of June. Today, since Kenny's coming in, why not Kenny Lattimore? He's got some hits, and you'll hear him all 3 hours of today's program. We commence our first conversation now with Nekima Levy Armstrong. Nekima, I wish we were talking under different circumstances. And what's strange about this is you were already booked on the program today before these shootings this weekend. We rotate our contributors, and are always honored to be in conversation with Nekima. She was already on the program, and then when I saw this stuff break out this weekend, I looked to see how we were going to adjust the program for today, and I didn't make any adjustments because Nekima was already there at the start of the program. Just happened to be that way. So it's good to hear your voice, even though under strange and bizarre circumstances. How are you today?
Thank you, Tavis. I am breathing a sigh of relief that they caught the man responsible for the political violence in Minnesota this weekend.
Yep. What's it been like? What's it been like being on the ground? As I said earlier, y'all can't catch a break, it seems, in Minnesota these days. But what's it like to be in a space where everybody's on lockdown and there's a manhunt, nobody knows where this person or these persons are, and y'all scared to go outside? What's it been like in Minnesota, in Minneapolis all weekend?
Well, it was pretty shocking to wake up to the news on Saturday morning that two of our prominent legislators in Minnesota had been shot along with their spouses. And there were a lot of rumors flying around at the time. And so we were just trying to see what actually happened and what was going to happen next. And then we got word that Melissa Hortman, who was a member of our House of Representatives and the Speaker of the House previously, she and her husband were killed, and their dog. And then Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were both shot multiple times. She was apparently shot 8 times. He was shot 9 times, but miraculously they survived and have come through numerous surgeries, and we're waiting to hear what's going to happen with them. So it was very terrifying for many people knowing that a killer was on the loose. And not knowing if and when they would find him. But last night, that's exactly what happened. After a 2-day manhunt, they located the killer.
I have nothing against Governor Tim Walz, nothing at all. Never met the man, to my knowledge, although he was here in L.A. for the Democrat, in California, in Anaheim, actually, what Disneyland is, for the Democratic Convention not long ago, the state Democratic Party, that is. And we were trying to arrange for him to come on the show. He's out in Anaheim, so we just couldn't make it work out. So we did communicate. He's going to come on this show in the days ahead, and now's a good time as any to get Tim Walz on this program. We just couldn't work it out when he was here in the city or in the state. So nothing against him. And yet I listened to that clip, as you did, of him talking about the capture last night. I've listened to all his comments since this incident broke out, or since this incident happened, and I've yet to hear him call this domestic terrorism. There's something about, our culture that doesn't allow us to really wrap our brains around what domestic terrorism is and what it looks like, particularly when it's a white male. Now, I hope in the days to come that we will call this exactly what it is. But there's something, again, in our psyche that when there's a white male involved, no matter how heinous it is, we just can't let those words, domestic terrorism, come out of our mouths. We'll call everything else terrorism. And I believe that, Shakespeare asked that famous question, what's in a name? Well, a lot's in a name. And when you call it what it is, as you all say in BLM, say her name, say his name. You got to call it what it is. And I know I'm mixing a bunch of metaphors here, but I think you take my point, which is that they just have a hard time calling it what it is, saying what it is. It is domestic terrorism, but again, when it's a white male, we just can't seem to wrap our brains around that. That's what I heard, or frankly didn't hear. And I teach students when I talk to them, and you read and you're researching and you want to be a great talk show host, you have to read for what's not on the paper. You have to listen for what's not being said. And that's what's not being said. And I heard him not say it. What about you?
You're absolutely right, Tavis. And this is a part of a pattern where we see white men who engage in domestic terrorism not being labeled as such. We see the media then working to ensure their sympathy for the killer, talking about their mental health or them being withdrawn or losing their jobs or facing financial troubles. If that's the case, and we look at what's happening in our community, you'd be seeing these types of incidences every day, right? But many in our community face challenges, yet we don't go out on a murdering spree, right? And so the media, for whatever reason, tends to humanize the killer and when it's a white man, and act as if they were on their last leg when they committed this heinous act. And that's what we see happening here with regard to the killer in this circumstance. Beyond that, he was armed, Tavis.
Yeah.
How many black men do we know and have heard of who were shot and killed while being completely unarmed in encountering police? But this man had shot at police after the original killings happened. He literally shot at police. And then when they were going to apprehend him last night, he was armed, and they somehow managed to take him into custody alive. So these are questions we're asking, while also being relieved that the man was caught, wondering why there is unequal treatment in terms of how he's being talked about and him being brought in alive, unharmed, knowing that he was armed and dangerous.
Yeah. Since we're in Minneapolis, let's just stay there for a second. We were on this program weeks ago talking about Donald Trump on the eve of the 5th anniversary of George Floyd, brazenly again announcing his Justice Department, that is, that they are no longer going to engage in these consent decrees with police departments across the country. They are no longer going to track police accountability, even in places like Minneapolis, where they killed George Floyd, in places like Louisville, where they killed Breonna Taylor, in places like Memphis, where they killed Tyree Nichols. The Trump Justice Department has no interest these days in police accountability. And I saw your mayor step up and say, we're going to figure this out anyway. And then I saw your mayor days later issue an executive order implementing this consent decree, never mind the federal government looking the other way. So what say you, as a longtime activist, founder of the Racial Justice Network? You were there when they murdered George Floyd. We had the former police chief on this program on the anniversary of that murder. He told the story to our entire national audience that it was Nekima Levy Armstrong who called him at midnight. Nekima is all that. She got the chief's number in her phone. She called the police chief and told him, you better watch this videotape. So it really was Nekima who brought this to the attention of the police chief in Minneapolis. He wrote about it in his book. He was on this program to talk about it. And so what's your sense of policing or accountability for policing 5 years after that murder, given that Trump is looking the other way, but the mayor, it seems, is trying to step up?
Well, honestly, we're questioning whether this is a publicity stunt by the mayor at this point.
I want to hear it.
I hate to say it, but the reality is that this is an election year. And the last time that he ran for mayor, he promised that he had banned no-knock warrants. And then a few months later, Amir Locke was killed. This was in 2022 as a result of a botched no-knock warrant. Mm-hmm. And so we don't believe him, unfortunately, in terms of whether or not they'll take the provisions from the federal consent decree that the Trump administration withdrew from and implement them into the state consent decree, which has been going on now for about 2 years. So the proof will be in the pudding in terms of whether the mayor is serious or whether these are more campaign promises meant to secure his reelection, because he has not had a sense of urgency from our perspective in terms of overhauling the Minneapolis Police Department, helping to shift the culture. We still have incidences that have been happening to residents in this city, and the mayor hasn't stepped up to the plate, unfortunately. But if there is a chance that they're serious, then, of course, we support that. Yeah. But the proof will be in the pudding at the end of the day.
How do you hold the mayor accountable? He signed this executive order saying he wanted to codify and accelerate the city's police reform efforts. Never mind what the Trump administration did. I hear your point. That's why I'm glad to have you on to give us the real story, for real, how we ought to read these national stories when they break. But how do you hold the police? How do you hold the mayor accountable in Minneapolis to do what he said he would do, to do what he signed into order?
I mean, honestly, many of us want to see new leadership in the city of Minneapolis. We do not want Jacob Frey elected for a third term because of all the things that have happened under his 2 previous terms with regard to the lack of police accountability. But one of the things that we do is to call out these issues. We've held several press conferences over the last several months calling out issues of police violence or even neglect when it comes to black people, calling the police, for example, and not really getting the support that's needed. And so we try to bring these issues to the attention of the public so that they can make an informed decision when they go to the polls in November. That seems to be right now our main mechanism for holding him accountable, public attention, and then reminding people that they have a choice in November when it's time to go to the polls.
I've got some sound from these No Kings rallies this weekend. I wanted to play it now. I will hold it and play it a little bit later in this program. I don't want to cut into the 3 minutes that I have left with Nekima. I know that you were involved in these No Kings rallies. I was here in L.A. People all across the country were. Thousands of these rallies, even as they had the military parade on Trump's birthday in the nation's capital. What's your sense of what this pushback means, if anything? It seemed to be, this clearly was the most robust weekend of pushback against the Trump administration. Does it mean anything, Nekima?
I think it means that the people are united against the fascism and authoritarianism that the Trump administration is trying to usher in. Here in Minnesota, after, like I said, waking up to that news of 2 legislators and their spouses being shot, we were told to stay home. Matter of fact, the governor tried to cancel the No Kings event here, and we said, no, we are still showing up. And so it's estimated that 80,000 people showed up in Minnesota outside the state capitol for our No Kings rally. And those of us who were on the agenda to speak, we made sure we still spoke. Even though they wanted to cut the program down, we said, no, this is the time to rise up. We can't shrink back in the face of these attacks, these political attacks, and the misbehavior of the Trump administration, the tyranny, the authoritarianism, and on and on. So the fact that people around the country stood up, I feel, is a good sign. And it shows that we're not going to be silent in the midst of these attacks against our democracy, and that we are stronger together as we stand united.
I know that Minneapolis, because I've been there so many times over the years, Minneapolis has a significant number of immigrants of color. I got 90 seconds left here. What kind of storyline is developing there about these ICE raids and specifically these immigrants of color in Minneapolis?
Well, we had an incident here maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where there was a joint federal task force, which also included ICE, raiding a Mexican restaurant on Lake Street in Bloomington. And what was interesting about the situation here was that when people saw ICE was involved, they came out and physically got involved and basically took on the joint federal task force that also included some local law enforcement. So they realized here people aren't quiet and silent when it comes to protecting, the immigrant community. We have the largest population of Somalis in the United States. We also have a large Latino population. And this is an issue where people are very passionate about. They're willing to come outside and stand strong to fight against ICE and the Trump administration and their attack on immigrants in Minnesota and around this country.
This is so strange and so sick all at the same time. Shameful and disgraceful that my phone every so often throughout the day pings with alerts of where ICE is stalking. I just literally, while you were answering that question, looked down at my phone, and it pinged that ICE is stalking outside of Manual Arts High School, literally like 2 miles from this studio. So neighbors are letting neighbors know where ICE is showing up, and they're literally like 2 miles from the studio right now as we speak, stalking outside of a high school here in L.A. And so that's the case all across the country. Just fascinating that phone pinged while you were answering that question. Nekima, thanks for your insight as always. We'll do it again somewhere down the road. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day as much as you can in Minneapolis.
Thank you, Tavis. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you more. Good to have you on as always. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever. Backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. Officials in Minnesota are providing more details on the arrest of the suspect in the killing of a Minnesota state lawmaker. Vance Bolter was captured alive after being seen on camera at a trail.
In the murders he committed, in the attempted murders, that he conducted that activity alone. We will be exploring if there are any broader network. We have not uncovered any of that at this time, but that will be part of our investigation.
Bolter is accused of killing state lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. He's also accused of shooting and injuring Democratic Senator John Hoffman and his wife. One person is dead after a shooting during a No Kings rally in Utah on Saturday. Police say shots rang out near a federal building in Salt Lake City, where around 10,000 people were demonstrating peacefully. Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia are hitting the road for a co-headlining tour. The Thuggish Ruggish Mafia tour kicks off August 21st. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Fans going to Dodger Stadium tonight to see the Dodgers and San Diego will see something they have not seen in almost 2 years. Shohei Ohtani will be the Dodgers starting pitcher. Ohtani, a two-time MVP with the Angels, is making his first pitching appearance since August 23, 2023. Ohtani was prevented from pitching while recovering from major shoulder surgery in the fall of 2023. The Dodgers beat San Francisco Sunday 5-4. Ohtani was 3 for 3 at the plate and scored 2 runs. The Angels were swept in their 3-game series at Baltimore. They lost 11-2 on Sunday. The Angels start a 4-game series tonight in New York against the Yankees. The NBA Finals resume tonight with Game 5 in Oklahoma City. OKC and the Indiana Pacers are tied at 2-2 in the best of 7. TV ratings for the NBA Finals are down 20% from last year after 4 games. Tip-off time tonight is 5:30 on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
813-9717.
Following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
It's Kenny Lattimore from the Love Jones soundtrack. We're playing the best of Kenny Lattimore all 3 hours today. June is Black Music Month, and we choose a different artist of the day, play their best, some of the best of their catalog, all 3 hours of the show, weaving in and out of these amazing conversations with great guests like Congressman Bobby Scott, who I'll talk to here in just 60 seconds. But Kenny Lattimore and his wife, Judge Faith Jenkins, TV judge, they'll be live in studio today in our third hour. So it just so happens that today's a good day since he's coming in studio to play the best of Kenny Lattimore all 3 hours of today's program. I am delighted once again. It's been my honor more times than I can count over the course of my career to be in conversation with Bobby Scott out of Virginia, Democrat, of course. He is the ranking member of the House Education and Labor Committee. You have that clip, Miles, of Linda McMahon? I want to play this right here before I get to Congressman Scott. I'm sure he may have heard this. He may have been there. But in case he didn't hear it, or more to the point, in case you didn't hear it, this is Summer's last name? Representative out of...
Summer Lee.
Summer Lee, that's right. Summer Lee from
Pennsylvania.
There's the congressman. There he is. First of all, since you're piping in, I ain't mad at you. How are you, my friend? Good to hear your voice, first of all.
Tavis, good to hear from you. How you doing?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm always, as I said, honored to be in conversation with you. So Summer Lee out of Pennsylvania had the opportunity to question Linda McMahon, the current education secretary, not too long ago. I don't need to explain this, but just sit back and listen to this exchange between the black Congresswoman Summer Lee out of Philadelphia and the education secretary, Linda McMahon.
Would you say that it would be an illegal DEI for a lesson plan on the Tulsa Race Massacre?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Do you know what the Tulsa Race Massacre is?
I'd like to look into it more and get back to you on it.
Okay, so I look forward to that. How about the book Through My Eyes by Ruby Bridges, for instance?
I haven't read that.
Have you learned about Ruby Bridges?
If you have specific examples you'd like
that was a specific example.
I'll be very happy.
It was an incredibly specific example.
I named a specific questions, and I will look into it and get back to you on them.
Thank you. How about a school having a voluntary celebration for Pride Month?
Well, I think that
voluntary.
Well, let's make sure that in our schools,
this is yes or no?
We're looking. No, it's not.
Okay. How about social studies standards that teach that President Biden won the 2020 election?
I think our studies should all be taught accurately.
Yes or no?
I think our studies should
be taught accurately. The question was, do you believe that social studies standards that teach that President Biden won the 2020 election is an illegal DEI, yes or no?
I think I have said we should teach accurately. We should.
No, you have not answered the question. Well, I don't understand why you're incapable of answering.
I'm just not giving you the answer you want.
No, I want the answer, whatever your answer is.
I just gave you the answer.
No, the answer is yes or no.
No, the answer is
the answer is yes or no.
Gentle ladies.
Thank you.
The Tulsa Race Massacre. Let me look into it, and I'll get back to you about that. Congressman, as I said, you are the ranking member of the House Education and Labor Committee. This stuff would, in fact, be laughable if it weren't so serious, sir.
Well, everybody knows what the Tulsa Race Massacre was all about. And I have a picture of me and Ruby Bridges from about 5 years ago, and a picture of the iconic Norman Rockwell picture of her. And you see from the waist down federal marshals walking her into the school to integrate it. And so I have both of those pictures back to back in my office. So of course I know who Ruby Bridges is.
Yeah.
That was it was interesting, and the really shocking thing was that you couldn't get a straight answer out of on the question, did Joe Biden win the 2020 election?
That's right.
What is wrong with these people? Why can't they answer? And this is you're getting this in everything else. We're trying to get facts, and they can't acknowledge facts. It's one of the reasons they're trying to defund public broadcasting, because when they say we're not cutting Medicaid for any vulnerable population, public broadcasting is liable to point out that the Congressional Budget Office estimates that 11 million people are going to lose their Medicaid coverage. And that's just inconvenient.
Yeah.
And so that exchange just shows the problem of trying to get a straight answer out of people when they're trying to really misrepresent reality.
What is your read of what Donald Trump is attempting to do with the Education Department?
Well, he has said publicly that he likes the poorly educated, and people with who are well educated will not fall for the nonsense that they're doing. The Department of Education, getting rid of the Department of Education, for example, has nothing to do with improving test scores. Test scores are improved or based on what you do local and state. That's where you teacher quality, curriculum, and all that. That's local and state. What the federal government does in the Department of Education is basically civil rights. Title I money for low-income areas. Title I money for low-income areas. We fund education on with the real estate tax, the low-income areas that are disadvantaged. We deal with racial achievement gaps. Money and directives to deal with that. English is a second language. Make sure people for whom English is a second language get a decent education. Children with disabilities, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. That's what we do K through 12.
Yeah.
Higher education department doesn't tell colleges what to teach. We just provide Pell Grants and student loans so you can get in. So when they start saying we're going to get rid of the Department of Education, it's not to improve education, it's to diminish educational opportunity. And they've been attacking opportunity and civil rights like we haven't seen since the 1960s.
Yeah. And now they have shut down JobCore. When we come forward, I want to ask Congressman Bobby Scott about that, what it means to pause JobCore all across this country. So many people I know have benefited from this JobCore program. Now they've cut that. So we'll talk about that. And of course, I want to get his take as well on these No Kings rallies this weekend, get his take on this military parade on Donald Trump's 79th birthday. We ought to keep saying that his 79th birthday, his 79th, almost his 80th birthday. Keep saying that, y'all. More with Bobby Scott when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Congressman Bobby Scott, the ranking member on the House Education and Labor Committee out of Virginia. JobCore has been around a long time. It is a government-funded program that provides free career training, housing, and meals to low-income students. They have cut this JobCore program. Congressman Scott, your thoughts?
Well, it's been going on since 1964. You've indicated it's a great program. Millions of young Americans have learned skills that allow them to get good jobs. And for some reason, it actually has strong bipartisan support in Congress. This administration doesn't like it, so they just closed all the programs.
Yeah.
I mean, no notice, just say we're going to close all the programs. Now, a lot of the young people, because of their circumstances, get housing at the JobCore program. And so they say, well, the cost per participant compared to other job training programs is more expensive. Of course, it's more expensive. You're providing room and board, but it's for the group that is participating in JobCore. You're talking about people that are not in school and not working, and that's a recipe for disaster. Unemployment, incarceration. I mean, it's a group that you really transform their trajectory from misery into a very good skilled job where they can make a way above average salary, and they've just cut them. You just can't cut programs without congressional authority. If Congress passes legislation establishing the program and funding the program, you just can't cut it. So he is now under court order to keep the programs open. But that's how they operate. When they didn't like the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, they just closed it.
Yep.
And they're under court order, foreign aid. They just cut out foreign aid. They're under court order for that. The EEOC, he fired commissioners. Now they can't operate as a commission because they don't even have a quorum. The National Labor Relations Board, they don't have a quorum. So they were going around just wrecking the ability of agencies to operate. And JobCore, with all of its good work and all of its success, is one of them. And we need to make sure that we follow the courts. The Department of Labor is complying with the court order. They're reopening the JobCore centers, and they'll contest it in court. But it's established by Congress. It's funded by Congress, and the president, in his executive responsibility to faithfully execute the laws, just can't close the programs.
Now, they've taken a machete to government and all kinds of good programs that have benefited thousands and thousands of, if not millions, of fellow citizens.
With JobCore, it's JobCore. It's millions.
Yes,
and
I thought,
we don't. You call it a machete. I call it a chainsaw.
There you go. I take it. I'll take the chainsaw. I'll take it. Our remaining moments with Congressman Bobby Scott when we come forward. I want to get his take on these No Kings rallies this weekend, and curious as to whether he stayed in D.C. for the big military parade on Trump's birthday, or whether he got out and went back home to Virginia. You're listening to Bobby Scott on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada. Member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Febreze. So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You're on D with Congressman Bobby Scott. Got 4 minutes left with him. In the 4 minutes I have left, Congressman, I want to ask you about these No Kings rallies this weekend. Over 2,000, we are told, at least reading the New York Times, over 2,000 of these rallies all across the country this weekend. As I said earlier in today's program, it's the most robust pushback that I've seen, I think any of us have seen, since Trump returned to the White House. I asked this question earlier. I ask it of you now. You are a sitting member of Congress. Does this mean anything? How are you reading Americans are coming out of their homes this weekend to protest this administration?
Well, I think that it's extremely important that people express their views. When the president was told 8 years ago that you can't have these kinds of parades because that's what dictators do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what his staff told him. And he appointed new staff this time who will tell him exactly what he wants to hear. We're trying to fund VA hospitals and other military quality of life programs. And he spent at least $40 million on this thing, maybe as much as 200, depending on how you count things like the Washington, D.C. police had people out in the streets directing traffic around all those barricades for several days before and probably several days after. I don't know if you count that as part of the cost, but there are a lot of costs fixing up the roads after the tanks went over them. But that's wasting money on that for a big birthday party, when at the same time they're passing that big ugly bill that cuts taxes for the wealthy, cuts Medicaid, food stamps, and access to college. The most important thing to him is a big military parade to feed his ego. I just thought it was an outrage, and people coming out, I think, is an appropriate thing to do. Most of the activity in Hampton Roads, Southeast Virginia, were Juneteenth celebrations. People didn't pay any attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what. It just wasn't much wasn't much at all.
Yep. Trump calls it a big, beautiful bill. Congressman Bobby Scott calls it a big, ugly bill. I'm with Congressman Scott.
And they're not even embarrassed. They're cutting taxes for the wealthy and then taking people's health care, nutrition, access to college, and still running up the debt by trillions.
Yep.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and they don't have the common decency to be embarrassed about it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this as my extra question. You put your finger on something that I've been talking about for quite some time now, and that is that in the first administration, there were some people. I saw Adam Schiff on Meet the Press yesterday. He made the same point. So we're not the only ones, but people are paying attention to the fact that in the first administration, there were at least some people who eventually saw the light. I say all the time that if people wake up, they wake up either because they see the light or because they feel the heat. But at some point, you got to wake up. So there were some folk who woke up in the first administration, but I think you're absolutely right on, spot on, Congressman Scott. There is nobody in this administration. He did this deliberately and unapologetically. Nobody's going to tell him no in this administration. Elon Musk has left the building. Nobody's going to tell him no, and that's scary for me. How concerned should we be about the fact that nobody around him is going to have the courage to ever pull his coattail?
Well, loyalty is the measure, not competency. You had a situation with classified information with people who were talking about war plans on a commercial signal platform. Everybody in the military knows you can't do that. But you had the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, the head of the National DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, several others apparently didn't know that they should be in a secure location talking information like that. They didn't know. And so you've got people, but they're all loyal to the president.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the measure, and that doesn't get you good results.
Yep. Congressman Scott put his finger on it. The measure in this administration is not competency, but loyalty. That's the line for the day. It's not about competency in this administration. It's about loyalty. And I shudder to think about the days ahead when he continues to keep moving beyond the pale, and nobody around him has the courage, the conviction, the commitment, or the character to tell him he's gone too far and that the emperor has no clothes on. I'll leave it there for now. One of my favorite members of Congress for many, many years now, Congressman Bobby Scott out of Virginia. Always, sir, an honor to talk to you. Thank you for your time, your work, and your witness.
Thank you.
Good to have you on. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. Officials in Minnesota are providing more details on the arrest of the suspect in the killing of a Minnesota state lawmaker. Vance Bolter was captured alive after being seen on camera at a trail.
In the murders he committed and the attempted murders, that he conducted that activity alone. We will be exploring if there are any broader network. We have not uncovered any of that at this time, but that will be part of our investigation.
Bolter is accused of killing state lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. He's also accused of shooting and injuring Democratic Senator John Hoffman and his wife. One person is dead after a shooting during a No Kings rally in Utah on Saturday. Police say shots rang out near a federal building in Salt Lake City, where around 10,000 people were demonstrating peacefully. Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia are hitting the road for a co-headlining tour. The Thuggish Ruggish Mafia tour kicks off August 21st. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Fans going to Dodger Stadium tonight to see the Dodgers and San Diego will see something they have not seen in almost 2 years. Shohei Ohtani will be the Dodgers starting pitcher. Ohtani, a two-time MVP with the Angels, is making his first pitching appearance since August 23, 2023. Ohtani was prevented from pitching while recovering from major shoulder surgery in the fall of 2023. The Dodgers beat San Francisco Sunday 5-4. Ohtani was 3 for 3 at the plate and scored 2 runs. The Angels were swept in their 3-game series at Baltimore. They lost 11-2 on Sunday. The Angels start a 4-game series tonight in New York against the Yankees. The NBA Finals resume tonight with Game 5 in Oklahoma City. OKC and the Indiana Pacers are tied at 2-2 in the best of 7. TV ratings for the NBA Finals are down 20% from last year after 4 games. Tip-off time tonight is 5:30 on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again. Holla.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA. Love you.